we'll give it some time here. What's up? Striker, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? This. There's like characters after your name. 25. Is that 2x5? Meaning the video doesn't look good, the audio doesn't sound great. Nature's Barista, what's up? Shalom. Oh, good. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Next month will be coming up close. Sorry. Awesome. That was a tight casing. Oh, 25. Man, I don't have it up here, I guess. That's funny. Yeah, so I've got the reloading press going here. I am prepping casings for reloading. These are all 5.56. So Striker, when you were in for Thanksgiving, we picked up all of that brass that we shot, and this is it. I've got 400, over 400 rounds in this. I've got 350 already deprimed over here on this box. Then I've got another 250 here that I'm working on currently. And then I've also got, I don't know, maybe, I know you can't see it very well, but there's another, probably another 750 to 1,000 right here that needs to be deprimed and ready. And of course, yeah. Do I have stuff for 300 Win Mag? No, I don't. However, the only die sets that I have are 223, 308, and 6.5 Creedmoor. But got a press. I mean, if we get a die set for 300 Win Mag, I mean, yeah, we can go to town with it, brother. So not really a super deal. Do you have a lot of casings that you've been holding on to or something? Yeah, Lindsay, just a few to prep for sure. And I went to Bass Pro a while back and found some 62 grain FMJ with the cantilure. These are FMJ boat tails. So I'm going to load up 500 of those. And I got this for $52, 500 projectiles. I thought that was pretty good. And then I've got some more 55 grains down there. And then of course I've got a bunch of 308 that like these are my 308 casings. They're all primed and prepped, ready to rock, man. I'm gonna have to get a light over here because we can't see very well. It's a little dark, I think, unless my brightness, yeah, my brightness is just down. Let's see what that does. Can you see that? There we go. 308, primed, prepped, ready for powder, and then to crimp in a new round. So, and I want to say that's just like 800 rounds of brass that's ready. Like I said, I'm just trying to get, I knocked out all the I started on the 556 casing, well, the 223 and then the 556. And then I switched over to 308, knocked out all of the 308, and now I'm back here working on the 223. And some of these are like just dirty. Let me find a nice clean one. Oh, that one's, I know I've got one in here. Actually, I've got quite a few in here. But see the difference? Nice and clean and dirty. It's sat out in the weather for a while, for sure. But, you know, after it runs through the tumbler here, it'll clean up all right. Be nice and clean and ready to go. Brother Chris, what's up? Lincoln Bowling, shalom. What do you need a shout out for? I say hi to everybody I can, that's for sure. No special treatment though, unless you're striker. Oh, well, thank you, Lincoln. If that's all it took to get you to subscribe, I appreciate that. um, Barista looks like reloading time. Yeah, it's reloading time, bro. We got a lot to do, and of course, you know, some of these are tight, which is okay. That's not a bad thing. Um, but it doesn't mean that we don't have things to talk about or there aren't things that we can talk about. Naturally, I spend a lot of time, like for you, Lincoln Bowling, if you don't know much about me, I spend a lot of time talking about Scripture. Lately, we've been diving in a little bit into, uh, yeah, single stage curls. Lately, we've been diving a little bit into uh, some of the biblically endorsed extra biblical texts, predominantly the book of Enoch. And I find it incredibly interesting how much of it parallels with Scripture across the board. And there are even direct quotes in Scripture that quote Enoch. So, you know, it's interesting to say the least. It's a pretty cool read, pretty cool dive into. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of meat. Federal 200 grain ELDX. Ooh, that's a great round. Tried HMS 185 grain burger, 78 grain Hornady match, and a couple others. Lighter loads were well, yeah. I mean, 300. Wait for which for 308 because I've got. Let's see, what do I have for 308? I've got, oh, for 300 win. Well, yeah, with all of that powder, man, all of that pressure, for me, I would want the stability and the kinetic energy downrange for sure. But for my 308, I've got 400 rounds of 178 grain boat tail hollow point, and then some 168 grain boat tail hollow point match, some 178 grain ELDX. That's a bad round right there. And then some, what is this? 180 grain Super Shock tip, which is just another polymer tip round. It's their SST. So, and then just a bunch of, 150 grain FMJ for the 308 there. So I've got plenty to load up for my 308. I think I only have like 140 cases for my 6.5 Creedmoor, and much of that is unshot. So it's new rounds, still in boxes. I haven't had a large opportunity to really shoot my 6.5. About how loud is a Glock 17? I would say the answer really depends. Just straight out of the barrel, your standard 4.5-inch barrel. I mean, it's going to be pretty loud. You're looking at, well, there's variables. Are you shooting 115 grain? Are you shooting 127 grain? Are you shooting 147 grain plus P, which is plus 10% powder? So there's variables there, because you're looking at the idea of an explosion, a controlled explosion in a chamber. So on average, I would say that a pistol round could easily be in the realm of about 140 decibels, if you will. It's not exactly hearing safe. However, I've shot plenty of pistol rounds without hearing protection, without issues. The biggest factor, like whenever it comes to like hearing protection, is when you're shooting a rifle. That's where the hearing protection really comes into play. $115 grain. Oh, so like at a football stadium? Are you like security or something? Because I'll put it this way. Don't believe anything that Hollywood tells you or shows you in movies about firearms, because it's all wrong. Or even what, media know like as loud as a football game. Oh, gotcha. Understood. Sorry, I was like, I don't know that I want to answer your question. Yeah, it can be pretty loud. It can be pretty loud. Yeah, I mean, even then, like a football game, how many people? Now, a gunshot, regardless of what it is going to be heard. Very rarely. Now, you have to have a very specific round in order for it to be silenced, and very specific powder load and all of that. Not to say that it's not. There it is. It's not possible to have a silent round, because it is. It's just very, 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 very rare and very specific powder charge with a very heavy projectile and all of that. So, yeah, guns are loud. Just period. The end. Why do you ask? Why do you ask, Lincoln? Are you new to firearms? Have you shot any at all? Oh, you don't know? Well, yeah. Okay, so are you new to firearms? Have you ever shot any? Oh, you're new. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's a fantastic question. A good place to start, at least as far as hearing protection is concerned. There we go. Boy, these are tight. I think I'm going to grease up the interior on some of these dirtier ones. They'll get cleaned in the tumbler anyway. But I think a solid good rule of thumb is if you're going to shoot, just wear hearing protection, man. Get you some ear muffs or some ear plugs to go inside the ear canal, and you'll pretty much be good to go. Then of course, that's just a more or less a standard. Walker Razor is great ear pro. I totally agree, Striker. It's fantastic ear pro. And then the Howard Leats, I've got a few pair of those as well. Those are pretty darn good, and if you can get them with the gel cups, uh, I find them to be more comfortable. What's up, Glenn? How you doing, brother? Just over here, kind of prepping casings, getting things ready to go. This is not a reloading channel at all. This is just something that I do for fun. In the words of my drill sergeant, shoot without earplugs because the enemy won't give you a moment to put them in. That's true, but that's also contextually driven. You know, like if I know that I'm going against an enemy, I will have already prepared for that. You know, whether that be something like this. So it just depends. Like, here's my helmet, right? So if I know if I'm going up against an enemy, I'm going to be wearing plates, have, you know, my helmet, hearing protection going, all of that. I got my hair did. Yeah. My wife finally cut it. And you know, truth be told, I wouldn't mind my hair being long, but when it's in that middle stage, I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it feels. It's difficult to manage, and really, all things considered, it doesn't mesh, or rather, it doesn't align with my personal vision of who I am in a professional sense. Some of the things that I do requires a certain level of professionality, and you know, sometimes when business is garnered, it makes far more sense to actually look the part. What's up, Dano? And having that longer hair, you know, curls around my ears and all that, it doesn't mesh or align with my personal vision. And there it went. Let's see. Oh man, it just fell right over, didn't it? Okay, let me fix that. What just happened? So what just happened there, Lincoln, was I had a casing get stuck on the upstroke, meaning it wouldn't pull out of the die. And you know, like I've been saying, some of these casings are very tight. And there's probably some corrosion in them, which is creating excessive friction inside here, because this is a deprimer and a resizing die. So what it does is essentially when a round is shot out of a casing through the barrel, the casing expands, right? And there's a primer here. So what happens, you pull the trigger, the firing pin goes forward and strikes the primer, which is why you see that dot in the middle of the primer there. So the firing pin goes forward, hits the primer, and causes an explosion inside the casing, and that explosion causes the casing to do this, to expand out. So what this die is doing is it's pressing that spent primer out to where it's no longer there. And simultaneously, as it presses that primer out, it reshapes the casing in and of itself to back to its original appropriate size. And whenever it's really tight, or maybe there is some corrosion on the interior, because part of what this does is it resizes the neck to expand it out, and then you push it up, and then it crimps it down to size, and then you pull it back through. So it goes over this resizer more or less twice, one on the upstroke, one on the downstroke. And see, this one was relatively smooth, but that's not always going to be the case. There we go. Looks like I've got 90 left to go on this batch here. So what we got going on? Where are you at on my DMR? Okay, so that's a great question. I've got the lower receiver completely built out. If you'll stand by, I can go get it. I can go grab it real quick. See, this one's tighter too. I'm gonna make that phone fall again. I told you it was going to happen. We're just having fun over here. What is the RAAF? Lincoln. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It doesn't hurt. Maybe it hurts you. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Let me go grab the AR-10 for Striker. Doing, son?
Are you live?
I am. That means you cannot be. I love you. All right. Royal Australian Air Force. Okay, gotcha. Depends on what you're doing with it. Light hot loads designed to blow apart are great for mitigating overpenetration in urban. Yeah, 100%, dude. Heavy. But in what setting would you actually utilize a 300 Win Mag? Great for defeating barriers, yeah, for sure. Transferring more force at distance, but snubby isn't really, yeah, for sure. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I have 2 barrels. This one is an 18-inch Hansen Profile 308 by Ballistic Advantage. My nose itches for some reason. There we go. And then this one I've actually cut out. But this is an 18-inch Hansen Profile and it's 416R stainless, again by Ballistic Advantage, but this one's in 6.5 Creedmoor. So I've had a lot of luck, or I'll put it this way, I have a lot of experience with Ballistic Advantage barrels. I've only ever witnessed myself one that came from the factory that was not true, and that one is just all the way an anomaly. So typically you don't see bad barrels from Ballistic Advantage. So they're pretty solid. They're fantastic. Do I do knives as well? Um, I love knives. I'm really into knives. Um, I don't really own a whole lot. I have a Survive Knives uh, knife that is a CPM 3V, a very tough, very hard steel, very difficult to sharpen. Um, but it's a fantastic knife. 125308. I'd